let's talk about something most everyone uses, currency. The paper money, usually exchanged in the US, is fiat money, meaning it's printed on paper, which basically has no value. Its value is derived from the government or the law. But the Lone Star State is now looking into an alternative. Have a listen. Please welcome Kevin Friedman, the host of the Economic War Room podcast. Kevin, thank you so much for making the time today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this digital currency based on gold and silver that Texas is considering?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, digital is a little bit of a misnomer. What it is an electronic means of using gold and silver. It's available commercially. There are versions like Glint Pay, and there's a number of debit cards in Europe that basically are ability to spend, buy, sell gold all through an app or electronically or a debit card. We just want to pair that with the existing bullion depository that we have in Texas. And if we do that, we'll create what is constitutional money. Article 1, Section 10 money, the founders left in, states can have their own money as long as it's gold and silver coin.
So Kevin, what are the advantages of this kind of currency, especially in this era of high inflation?
Well, you just named it. In the era of high inflation, you want something that protects its purchasing power. When the U.S. dollar left the gold standard in 1971, from that day until today, the dollar has lost 87% of its purchasing power. What used to cost a dime, like a candy bar, now costs $1.50, $2. And that's true across the board. You think of something in 1971 that's not massively more expensive today. But by contrast, gold has held its value. It was $40 an ounce in the year 1971. It's $2,000 an ounce today. Silver was $1.50 an ounce. Today, it's close to $25 an ounce. So bottom line, it helps people protect their money. That's an advantage. And the second real advantage is in this era of central bank digital currencies and federal control and everything else, it's nice to have a state-based alternative that's allowed under the Constitution that could protect your wealth, preserve your purchasing power, and at the same time preserve your privacy.
So Kevin, you talk about purchasing power. If someone has $1 in cash money and then they have $1 in this digital currency backed by gold, and then the government does something or some crisis happens and the value of the dollar goes down, what happens to their value of their digital currency?
Well, gold generally tends to go up in value when there's crisis in the world, so it tends to protect its value, but gold moves around all the time. I'm not trying to tell you that every day the value of your gold will go higher relative to the dollar. There are many days it doesn't. But over the long term, it's always proven to be the case. When we instituted the Federal Reserve in 1913, from then till now, we've lost about 97% of our purchasing power of our dollar. So bottom line is having an alternative. It's like a personal gold standard that you can have. And really, the means of transacting electronically just means that you can spend it. You can buy a stick of gum with your gold, or you could pay for a new car with your gold. It's just another way to hold your wealth, protect your wealth, and protect your privacy.
And I would imagine you can use this in other states, other countries, yes?
Well, Glint Pay is on the MasterCard rails, and so you can take your gold that's at the Glint depository in Switzerland, you can spend it anywhere in the world. We believe the same will be true for Texas. Now, we have to get the legislation passed first, but the constitutional means are there. There's a Supreme Court decision in 1837 that says we can do this, that's been cited 4 times in modern history and never been turned down. And plus, we have the ability with our bullion depository. So all the key ingredients are in place. We just need to get the Texas legislature to pass the bills that we have, or we need to go to a special session with Governor Abbott and get this passed into law.
Sounds very novel. You mentioned there is some precedent to this here. Kevin Friedman, host of the Economic War Room podcast. It's really great to hear from you.
Thank you very much. And learn more at economicwarroom.com.